and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Alright guys, Delzinski here and welcome to another We Talk. As per usual, I am joined by Professor Weeds. Do you want to say hello?
Yeah, I'm alright mate. How are you? You well?
I'm very good. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
And as well, today we are joined by a very special guest, one of the kings of the WWE gaming community, and a man who's most definitely Bagwell approved. And you know how we go on here. Mr. SmackTalks. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing well. Thanks for that warm welcome.
That's all right. You are Bagwell approved.
That's all you need to be on this channel, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's good to know.
The We Talk movement is sponsored by Buff Bagwell, so that's how we roll around here.
That is incredible.
I know. Okay, so what we want to talk about today, and the reason why we brought Mr. Smack Talks on, is to have a chat about WrestleMania 30 and the match card, and what we think our expectations are going to be, how we think it's going to go, and just to have a chat through some of the matches. So, first of all, let's put the question out there. I'll go with Smack Talks first. Paul, what do you think of the card so far this year? I'm sure there'll be a couple more, maybe a few more matches added, maybe. But what do you think of it?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's probably not as strong as past WrestleManias. I think it could have been a lot better. But obviously, the bad booking at the Rumble and then Punk walking out, it's kind of made them change initial plans. I think they said something like there was 58 wrestlers booked for the show as of Raw. So that's like 57 wrestlers and then Eva Marie. So that's it's an insane amount of wrestlers actually booked for it. I've never seen that many on a show. So I think it could be too many. I'd rather see a couple more singles matches in there.
Yeah, no, I agree. What do you think, Ant, as well? Weed?
Yeah, well, everyone's getting paid on this card, aren't they? The whole roster's on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. As Paul was saying, it could have been disastrous with CM Punk walking out and obviously the Royal Rumble not going down very well. But you know, I think it's all coming together nicely. Again, there are quite a few, you know, matches where there's a lot going on, like the Fatal 4-Way, the Battle Royal, the Diva, the Diva 14 all in, really, isn't it? The Triple Threat match. So yeah, maybe a couple more singles matches. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think they did pretty good damage control after the Rumble. The Rumble was so disappointing and so upsetting that I think they've managed to put a few good things in place in terms of, obviously we'll talk about it later, but Bryan and Triple H, and the winner gets to go into the main event. So yeah, overall I'm quite happy, and I actually can't wait for next Sunday. A few beers and WrestleMania, it's going to be good.
Just 7 days to go.
Yep, that is right. What we're going to do in terms of the rundown, we don't even know the exact order of the card yet, but this is the way I sort of see it maybe planning out. So the way I looked at it was maybe the first match that we'll get is the Tag Team Championship match between the Usos, the Real Americans, Ryback, Axel and Los Matadores. How do we actually see this match going? I think there might be a breakup of the Real Americans on this match. What do you think, Weeds? What do you think?
Not sure if we're going to get the breakup of the Real Americans in this one. Personally, I think if we're going to get a breakup, you might see it in the Shield match later. I think they go with solid wrestling match in this one. I kind of see the Usos coming out on top. Still, they haven't had those belts for very long.
Yeah, what do you think, Paul?
I kind of say probably the same thing. I'm expecting the Usos to come out with the belt still. I can't really see anyone else in there, like, taking the titles from them after they've had it for, like, such a short time. But I think the opposite Weeds, I think the Real Americans could actually break up here. Because they've planted the seeds for it, but then they've kind of cooled off it. So I think now that people's not expecting a breakup, I think they could go the opposite way and actually go through with it.
Yeah, I'm beginning to fall a little bit on that side. I know me and Weeds have talked about it in the past, about it's a bit strange how they've chosen to split up the Real Americans and possibly split up the Shield around about the same time. I mean, they're two quite over factions. choosing them to break them up almost right around the same event just seems a bit bizarre.
I mean, what you would get though is you're going to get solid wrestling if it's Swagger and Cesaro. So there's quite a good feud there ready to go. But equally, there's quite a good feud, I suppose, with all three members of the Shield. I'm pretty sure there's going to be one breakup at Mania. What do you guys think?
I actually think both. I think we'll get the seeds planted in the Shield match. I think the Real Americans will go at WrestleMania 30. I think that'll be the end. Possibly Coulter siding with Swagger. So that's my thought process. And I also think the Usos will retain as well. Can't see Ryback all getting anywhere near those belts. And I'm not really that interested in Los Matadors.
No, definitely. You've got to keep Zeb in the mix, haven't you?
I if I had the option, I'd rather have Zeb stay with Cesaro. I don't know why. I like the pairing, to be honest.
Be interesting though, especially with that match, especially if it opens. That's the only reason I'm thinking. If it does open, because I'm still not quite sure this might be the opener. But if it does open again, I'll be surprised if there was a swerve in it. But hey, based on last week, what do I know? Yeah,
that's a good point. You made a lot of mistakes last week, yeah?
Yeah, you slapping me over the hand now, are you?
Yes. Well, that's why we got Paul on.
Got a professional on.
Who do you think Coulter would side with, Paul? Do you think it would be Swagger, or do you think it's going to be Cesaro?
I think he could really go either way. I think I'd prefer to see him with Swagger, because I think he's better as a heel.
Yeah.
But I think he can actually work as a face as well, because the crowd still get behind him. But I'd rather see Cesaro by himself. I think he doesn't need a manager, whereas Swagger, I think he better suits having someone there to fill that role for him.
Yeah, no, I'd completely agree.
I mean, do you see them doing anything different with Cesaro once they are broken up? Or do you think he'll pretty much retain the same sort of character?
I think he'll be pretty much exactly the same way as he is, but obviously it lets the fans then get behind him with a big swing, where at the moment he's still a heel, so there's that you don't know whether to cheer for him or not, because you're still cheering a heel at the end of the day. So at least if he goes face, then he's fully over with the crowd at that point.
His arms are going to be huge next year or so, aren't they?
He's not. I can see them not really making him a heel or a face. He's just going to be that sort of guy that you cheer for. That's the way I get that feeling. A bit like how Austin used to get cheered for. I think they've already got that sort of style with Cesaro already. I cheer for him anyway, so...
I was going to say, give him another catchphrase and you've got a potential Daniel Bryan on your hands again, because he's a fantastic wrestler. He's great to watch. Some of those matches he's had on Raw recently have been brilliant. Yeah,
I was a bit disappointed that he's actually in the tag match. I thought maybe they might get put in an Intercontinental match with Vickie. Is there anything going on with the Intercontinental Championship?
I don't think it's been announced so far. It could be a pre-show match, because we've got like a 2-hour pre-show as well.
Oh, lovely. Good stuff.
There's nothing with the US belt at the moment either, is there?
I don't think so.
That belt, I don't know. When was the last defence of that belt? Oh, it'd probably been recent now I've said that.
All I know is that Dean Ambrose still holds it.
So that's pretty much unanimous that we all think that Usos are going to retain.
Yep.
Cool. Now, I put the next match on this card as the 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which, by the looks of it, we're going to get quite a few surprises and returns. There's loads of rumours going around that WWE have been making loads of phone calls to try and get some of the older sort of generation back for this Battle Royal. I hope RVD shows up during this Battle Royal.
I can see Rowdy Roddy Piper rocking up for this one as well.
Well, he's been all over Twitter trying to get himself on that WrestleMania card.
He's trying to get on the card, isn't he?
Are you looking forward to the Battle Royal, Paul? I was a bit, when that was Hogan's big announcement, I was a bit like, oh, was that it? I don't know why.
Yeah, I felt the same. I thought it was a lot lackluster, because they kind of mentioned before Raw that it was going to be a huge announcement, so it kind of felt like a bit flat when he announced the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I seen Cesaro as being someone that they could use to win that. But now I'm thinking I think there was 4 spots that haven't been announced so far.
Yeah.
So out of them 4 spots, I think Rusev could be one of them. I think he's got a good chance to win it and put him over. But I would rather see the Big Show win it. So you've got an actual giant win this. I think if it's something that to do every year, I think he's a great person to start off with.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That would make a lot of sense, having the Big Show win it. Although I'm not necessarily the Big Show's biggest fan, but it would make perfect sense. I don't really know who I think is going to win it. Rusev seems to be the favourite at the moment if he's put in it.
It would be nice to see him do something different and walk out on stage for once, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be the surprise guys that come in? That's to either of you guys.
Well, it sounds like RVD is definitely going to be one, doesn't it?
I'd like to think so.
I think I'd love to see Jericho return as well.
Yeah.
But I can't see that happening, not for that match.
Well, if he comes back and he doesn't win it, it's kind of another pointless thing on his career, really, another blip on his career. Jericho's been not used that great every time he's come back recently. I've sort of thought to myself, so.
No, definitely. Do you reckon we're going to see any more legends in it? Possibly.
Warrior.
Dear God.
Why not? Why not? And then Hogan comes in and throws him out.
You're booking WrestleMania 6 again.
Yeah, all right. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know who's going to win it. I think it's a good shout to have probably the Big Show win it. I'm still not really keen on the concept of the trophy, but I think it's a nice way to get a lot of superstars in a WrestleMania event.
No, definitely. So I was going to say, put you on a spot. Who do you two have winning it?
Oh, Paul's got Big Show, hasn't he? I don't know. Who would I like to win it? If Van Dam came back, I kind of like it. It doesn't make a lot of sense why he would win it. I'm just a big Van Dam fan, so I'd probably say that. Rusev's a good one if you want to push someone. I mean, that's a good push in it to win that.
No, definitely. I was going to say, with the amount of superstars that's going to be in it, I've got a funny feeling if it's not one of those two. They've been doing bits and pieces with Sheamus since he came back, and I kind of still think that he'll probably be in the mix towards the end as well.
Yes, good point. I'm actually I've become a Sheamus fan. I have become one.
I was going to say, me too. Those, as I think we said before, and we talked, those matches with Christian he's been having recently, they've been brutal for want of a better word, haven't they?
Yeah, it's I was going to say his back's black and blue, but I don't really want to go down that route this week. So, Sheamus is a good shout as well. So, I think this one's open to interpretation. It'd be good to hear all the guys out there what you think and who you think is going to win this battle royal. Let us know in the comments box below. The next match, let's move on, and the next match I've got is the Divas match. Weeds, do you want to cover this one a little bit?
Well, it sounds like there's 14 of them in it, by the sounds of it, and it sounds like the rules are that anyone can pin anyone else, and they would be the champion. Is that correct?
I think so. I think that is the rules. To be honest, I haven't been that close to this Divas match, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, Delzinski.
I was bad. Didn't do my research on this one.
Potential winners, I suppose. AJ's the longest reigning Divas champion, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's going to lose it at this one. I think
she's maybe see something with Tamina getting involved, backstabbing her mentor, as it was.
Possibly. I don't really know who I want to win this match, to be honest. Maybe I'd quite like Summer Rae to get it.
Yeah, but that's for very different reasons.
What do you think, Paul? Who do you think is going to win this one?
I really don't know what to make of this match because the rules for it, they haven't really defined them. So I'd rather see an elimination match, get a couple of quick eliminations in, get down to a nice reasonable number. The likes of Natalya, AJ, Tamina. So it's some people that can put on a decent match, because I think I tweeted out the other day that I'd rather see a singles match where they can actually have a decent amount of time, put on a good match.
Yeah.
But because AJ and Tamina, I think that's the feud that would probably work the best because of the length of time that's been getting set up. because they're not on Total Divas, it seems that that's why they've scrapped that and they just want some representation of Total Divas in the match, whether it be 1 or 14 like superstars in there. So I don't know, I can really see AJ retain, because usually when you stack like all the odds against someone, they always find a way around it. So I can see Tamina maybe working with AJ and then try to turn on her, but I still see AJ coming out as the title with the title.
Would you not like to see Eva Marie win the belt?
No.
Why? Why does everyone hate her so much? It's all red everything, isn't it? Hashtag. Oh my God, I sound terrible when I've just said that. Now, we need to edit that bit out.
No way.
Can you see someone else being added to the match afterwards if AJ retains? Because it's an invitational, so there could still be more people like gets added to it. I'll maybe see Vickie coming out and announcing someone else if AJ retains.
Would you think? I don't know how great shape this person is. Would you not think that a person that's going into the Hall of Fame could be entered into this?
Well, that's what I was thinking, because Lita's going to be on hand there. You've got NXT's Women's Champion Paige. She was inquiring about the match on Twitter.
Oh, really?
But I don't think it's going to be the best place to introduce her to the main roster. But there's always that option of the NXT champion against the Divas champion.
Well, if AJ retains, that could kickstart that sort of feud moving forward. So that could make a lot of sense. And otherwise, if not, then Lita could get involved. But I don't really know what her circumstances are at the moment, whether she's going to be, sticking around as part of, maybe she's got a Legends deal. I don't really know how it's working with Lita, or if it's just a one-time, induction into the Hall of Fame.
The good thing with matches like this is that sometimes because the expectation at the moment, to be honest, it's not high as it could be, and with the Divas Championship for a while, it's been kind of like in that state of flux or limbo. You could get quite, maybe potentially new feuds coming out of this, like we were saying. So that's kind of where I'm hoping they're going to kind of try and reshape it a bit more and give it a bit more structure, rather than AJ skips out every week and that's it really, and we don't really see a hell of a lot more going on Divas wise. Yeah,
I'd like to see something consistent come out of this match, like a proper feud, because it's felt like for a long... Well, the Divas division's a bit of a mockery, isn't it, really? You've only really got AJ who's being promoted as like a credible one. Everyone else is just total divas. So, hopefully this actually does bring on long-term some interesting feuds for the women's division. I think that's the best way to sort of look at it. This is a good opportunity. Who I think is going to win? Well, I'm just going to say I want Summer Rae to win because she's awesome.
That's all you need to say.
Who do you think is going to win it, Paul?
I'm going AJ. I can see her pulling it off still.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well, I think. Weeds?
I'll go Tamina. I'm going to throw something different in there.
Nice. So
I'm relying on WWE not booking it properly.
Are we not just going off looks then?
I am.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Anyway, on to the next one. And I had here the Shield versus Kane versus the New Age Outlaws. For me, I think this is where we might get possibly our second breakup, or maybe not the exact breakup, but another hint that Roman Reigns will be becoming the babyface, and the likes of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins becoming a heel faction, possibly maybe stitching up Roman Reigns at some point in this match and giving the Outlaws and Kane the victory. So how do we think this one's going to go? Paul, do you want to let us know what your views on this match is going to be?
Well, I was expecting a different match for the Shield. I thought I would love to see them take on the Wyatts again, or maybe if they did break up a triple threat, so that was what I was expecting. So this isn't really the match I wanted to see, but I think they're going to put on a good match anyway, because they always seem to pull it out. Mm-hmm. And the way I see it is, rather than what you just mentioned, I can actually see Roman Reigns turn on the other guys this time, because we've had Ambrose leave behind Rollins and Reigns. I think it was on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And
then we had Rollins walking out on the tag match against the Wyatts on Raw. So I think it could be Reigns' turn on them. maybe people won't see that coming because I think he might work better as a heel.
Oh, really?
I think he might do if he like joins this like sort of new corporation. If he like sides with Kane, maybe.
But do you think that sort of jeopardizes this big, or all this talk around the fact that they want Reigns to be this big name face of the company?
It does, but if say Bryan wins the title,
Yeah,
and they've put all this faith in Orton, he hasn't done it. Batista hasn't delivered, and then you've got Reigns, the big guy they want to push, put him up against Daniel Bryan. I think that could work.
that's a really good point. I've never ever thought of it like that they could go down this route. What do you think, Wheat?
Well, it does make a lot of good sense. I mean, because at the end of it, already talking about it, but it sounds like all three of us are assuming Bryan is going to walk out of here champion, and he is going to need opponents. I mean, I think the obvious ones will be your Batista first or your Orton, but he will need opponents. And I mean, if he does, I mean that's a great point that Paul makes there, with the potential that would really, I think, throw everyone if something like that happened. I think we're definitely going to get that kind of split here. Maybe all three will walk out. I don't know. I think someone's walking out by the sounds of it. What I'd actually like to see here is the Shield actually win at Mania, and then have the breakup afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of fall on the same side as what Paul was saying in terms of this match. I've always expected either the triple threat match that was talked about for quite a long time that we would get between the Shield, or well, I think I made a video about this where I wanted to see the Wyatts versus the Shield at WrestleMania. I wanted it to be saved up to this point. So this match that they've actually put together here isn't. I don't think anybody really anticipated this until the last few weeks where they've started turning on Kane and kicking off with Kane. I reckon that Kane and the New Age Outlaws are going to win this one because the Shield aren't going to be able to cooperate properly. At the moment, it feels like the Shield are meant to be face, and that's the only reason why I think that it will be Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins turning on Roman Reigns, because it comes across a lot more harsh, I think, if they turn on him, because they will stay cheering Roman Reigns because he didn't walk out on them. That's the way I sort of see it.
It sounds like something's definitely going to happen in this match, and I think everyone's expecting something to happen in this match. So I was going to say, predictions?
I think Kane and the New Age Outlaws are going to win this one.
I'd go the same, yeah.
Yeah, because not. I don't think it'll be like a clean win. It'll either be the Shield, being a dysfunctional family, or I don't know, a DQ or something like that. It's not going to be a pinfall, I don't think, in my head.
I swear I'm not trying to be different, but I'm going the Shield.
That's all right. And why do you think that?
I think it would be nice to see them have that moment, and that everyone's going, everyone think that everything okay, they're all on the same page, and then have the two turn on Reigns, and then leave him in the babyface kind of position. But equally, I wouldn't mind seeing him as a heel, but I would like to see him basically have that run by himself for a little while now.
Yeah, it's coming. Whether it actually happens at Mania, well, we'll have to wait and see. But the breakup is now pretty much in full force, I think. It was going to be really interesting now because we've got lots of mixed views, and it'd be great to hear what everyone else is going to say in the comments box, because whether they're going to fall on the side of Reigns coming out face, or whether it's going to be Ambrose and Rollins being the guys, it's going to be really interesting.
I was going to say, the only thing I think we've all agreed on so far is the Usos, so we'll probably all be wrong.
Okay, next up, this is kind of interesting, Paul. We were talking about this before we came on the call. We actually think, and I think it's been rumoured, that Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. The next match I've got here is Lesnar versus Taker, but there's a lot of talk. Is it going to be Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, and then that will go straight into the World Heavyweight Championship match? Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think the Daniel Bryan Triple H match is going to be much more earlier in the card?
I'm kind of expecting it to be a lot earlier in the card, but I don't really see it being too much of a match. I think it's going to be more of a brawl. because I can really see some sort of finish where it's either a case of a double disqualification or a count out or something like that, so that it's not a set finish and then it leads to both of them being in the match. Either that or Triple H somehow winning using dirty tactics, and then it looks like Bryan won't be in the match until later on, say Vince or someone comes out and adds him because it's truly what is best for business. So we get like a fatal 4-way WrestleMania 2000 style main event.
Yeah, God's got to be in that main event, hasn't he, really?
And Vince has got to be on this card.
Let's talk about the Daniel Bryan Triple H match, and then we'll go into Lesnar Taker. This is one of the matches I'm most looking forward to be honest. It's one of the matches I'm most anticipating. Weeds has said this before, that he thinks it's going to be a fatal 4-way. So I'll let you fire off with your thoughts, Weeds.
I'm still wondering potentially if this match could kick this whole show off. You know, an absolutely massive way, huge opening to Mania, could potentially be Bryan Triple H. So maybe it will be the beginning. If Triple H isn't going through with them all to be in that triple threat match at the end, which would become a fatal 4-way, I think it's more likely that it will be the one before. So, and it could go quite long, and you have Bryan do 25-30 minutes and then do the same again in the main event, so Batista can keep up. I joke. But no, I could see I wouldn't mind it opening, to be completely honest with you, but I would like to see maybe all 4 in the main event when it comes round.
Yeah, the only thing I think which would be nice, it'd be a good thing for Hogan if they utilise Hogan in this sort of scenario. Possibly maybe if Triple H wins with some sort of cheap dirty tactics, that it's Hogan that puts Daniel Bryan into the main event, because I always find when they have these guest roles, they've done it with The Rock before. Apart from when The Rock come out and rock bottom John Cena, that host role is a bit of a nothing role, and maybe Hogan's going to get used in the Cena Bray Wyatt match, which I actually, for some bizarre reason, didn't have on my list.
It's because you hate Cena.
Oh, that was why. Yeah, that's why I took him off the card. Yeah, but if not, then it would be nice if Hogan sort of interjects and says, "Look, we can't have this main event without Daniel Bryan. Triple H cheated. In he comes into the main event." I'd kind of like that. The only other scenario that I played out, Paul, to Weeds, was the fact that possibly if they are all in the main event, we might actually get a bit of an evolution moment where the belt is pretty much given to Triple H on a plate.
Yeah, I could possibly see that.
And them stitching up Daniel Bryan big time, just to, make that crowd at WrestleMania 30 even more happy.
The only thing I would say about your first option, about Hogan adding Bryan to the match, if that Bryan and Triple H match was the one that opens the card and Triple H wins it, I think that announcement would need to be made pretty early, because otherwise that crowd is going to be so hot. You wouldn't want to wrestle a match with that crowd, because it would completely throw you off and totally ruin the matches up till that announcement being made.
You don't want 85,000 trying to riot.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. No matter if they try and swerve towards Triple H, this crowd is just going to erupt, isn't they? It's going to be one of those sort of events where I personally think they can't screw over Daniel Bryan at this WrestleMania. But I mean, I think we'll cover that in the main event talk, because it sounds like we do think these guys possibly both can get in the main event. What do you think, Paul? You've sort of covered your prediction of it, but so you think that it's just going to be like a sort of no contest, or they both get put in the final match?
I think it'll probably be no Well, I don't know if I would say no contest, but I think there's definitely going to be some kind of swerved ending, so it's not what you're expecting. But I think it could go either way, and then they'll either change it later on, or even if Bryan wins, it keeps everyone happy and puts a great start to the show. But then Triple H obviously has the power to then interject himself into the match anyway, so his ego could just do that for him.
Oh, do you know what? The minute you said that, I just thought that is so Triple H. So-
All I want to see is Triple H just go into the ring and pull out a shovel instead of a sledgehammer. I'll be happy if that happens.
Oh, that would be brilliant. We're going to say it's WrestleMania, so he's going to have some kind of elaborate entrance, isn't he?
Yeah, what's he going to come out as? Oh dear.
He's going to have a crown of some sort, I'm assuming.
As long as the foam don't cock up again. Do you remember that year when all the foam... Was it last year? It wasn't last year, was it? When the foam machine cocked up and burnt the whole of his side.
I do remember that. Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, when he was coming to the ring, I was thinking, holy crap, it looks like he's had a bubble bath.
He's rocking Jeff Hardy face paint.
So Weeds, what do you think prediction wise for this one?
I'm going with same sort of prediction as Paul. Really, is that I see both of them going through, yeah, I'd say kind of a double DQ or something like that.
Cool, and then ultimately both of them ending up in the main event.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. As for, it's just reminded me this match is on the card, not because of Bray Wyatt, but John Cena. We say that name very quietly on this show. Another match that I can think the only outcome is a Bray Wyatt victory.
Well, you say that for every John Cena match, don't you? Whoever the other guy is, you're rallying around him.
No, come on. This match has to have Bray Wyatt win in terms of, stating a point that he's one of the next big guys to go on in the company. A lot of people are saying that, Bray Wyatt could be the next Undertaker sort of style character. So, yeah, John Cena's the guy that needs to let this happen. They're talking about all this legacy stuff, aren't they, about John Cena? And I'd like Bray Wyatt to crush that legacy, if possible.
Well, according to John, if you want to get on top, everyone has to go through him, don't you? So it'll be interesting. I thought they were going to be really working up an injury angle when I think Eric Rowan turned his knee a few weeks back, but that seems to have disappeared, or he's forgotten that he's meant to be injured. I don't know. I'm expecting Bray Wyatt to come out on top, but then I can see this feud going on a little bit as well.
Paul, are you a Cena fan?
I'm a fan of the guy himself. I think he's like a great person for the company. I love the stuff he does outside the ring, but I'm a bit tired of him in the ring. Although this past year, I think I've liked him a lot more. I think his promos are a lot better than they had been. So I think he's kind of stepped up a bit and try and change things a little more. He seems to work the crowd a bit better.
Yeah, I think the only trouble that's come out of this feud is Bray Wyatt's promos are so awesome that it went in contrast to the way Cena does his promos. It just feels really bizarre. I always find that when you listen to Bray Wyatt do his promo, I'm just like, this is awesome, and you get really into it, and it's a guy that's really involved in his character, and then you've got that more sort of reality sort of promo with John Cena, and to me, it's just not of the level of a Bray Wyatt promo, and it just makes me think, but I'm not Cena's biggest fan.
I mean, I like what Cena said when he's saying you have to go through him, and I think he has been the face of the company for so long, and I think we've talked about maybe him, Cena not giving him the best material to go with. I don't think anyone's been come off badly in this feud whatsoever. I think if Cena's going to take the rise out of whoever he's talking to, you have to step up your game and respond to what he's trying to do. So, and I think Cena and Bray Wyatt built this up quite nicely in terms of who's going to win. I'm still coming down the Bray Wyatt side. Don't
you think if Cena did win this, there's no point though? I don't see where it goes or what it does for anybody if Cena wins this match.
It'll be interesting to see if the other members I'm assuming the other members of the Wyatts are going to be around. I mean, are you expecting that?
Yeah, I actually think that they will come out, interfere, and then we'll get it comes crashing down, and Hogan comes out and clears with a good few punches, and pretty much a bit like an enforcer would come out, take those guys, get rid of them, match continues. But then that would lead me to believe that maybe Cena might win this match.
You're booking him in the whole show.
Well, Hogan?
Yeah,
Well, he's got to get his money's worth, hasn't he? He ain't been there for a while.
exactly.
How do you think it's going to go, Paul? What do you think is going to happen? To be honest, I'm contradicting myself on this one, but
Well, to be fair, Cena's kind of filling the Jericho role where he's putting over like the younger talent, like Jericho and Fandango last year. So I think it'll be the same sort of outcome. You'll get the young guy, so Bray Wyatt goes over Cena. But I think what you just said there, Hogan coming out, I can see that happening. So you can get Harper and Rowan banished from ringside, and that'll leave it 1-on-1. But I still see Bray Wyatt going over, and I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I think it'll be a really good match. Because it's so weird that Cena's so low down on the card. I think he's going to really want to prove himself. And Bray Wyatt, obviously coming through and being his first WrestleMania, he's going to want to do the same. And if you look at the match that he had against Daniel Bryan at the Rumble, I think that was one of the matches that really stole the show for me. That was a great match.
yeah, definitely.
So I can see him really putting on a great match here against Cena. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this one.
That would be kind of fantastic, actually. I'd really like that if you know, the Wyatts come down, Hogan clears the ring, sort of leading towards the fact that Cena's going to get back in it, and then Bray Wyatt hits him with a Sister Abigail and still gets the victory. I think that would be a pretty nice scenario.
I think whatever happens to this match, no one's going to come out of it badly. I would like to see it continue.
Yeah, it could do if Hogan gets involved. And is Hogan around long term? I guess he is now. He's got this deal, Legends deal, so it could be a GM at some point. So it could build to something.
Well, as long as he's not promoting the universe anymore and he sticks with the network.
Oh, as long as he doesn't botch anything at Mania, he's got to get his lines right. Okay, so predictions. I'm going with Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Wicked.
Wow, well, we agreed again.
That's made my day. That has. Okay, next up, it's the Beast, Brock Lesnar versus the Undertaker. Really looking forward to this match. This is probably going to be my favourite match on the card now. It's going to be completely different from the normal matches that we've seen. Triple H maybe brawls quite a bit, but it's going to be nothing like where we've had to have like a Shawn Michaels, trying to not carry the Undertaker, but elevate the Undertaker. I think this is just going to be an all-and-out brawl, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I think Heyman's going to be involved as well. We know Heyman's been talking this up a lot recently, so yes, this is probably my favourite match on the card.
You got two good brawlers and two good wrestlers in this. Yeah, they might not be able to move as quick as some of the other guys, but I mean, WWE doesn't do a lot of blood. But if you are going to get blood, this is probably likely where it's going to be on this card.
I think that Heyman's going to get a tombstone.
I don't know if he's up to that.
Why?
He's had everything else this year. We saw him getting absolutely annihilated with a kendo stick, didn't we? So,
well, it would be the icing on his year, really. What do you think, Paul? How do you think this one's going to go down? You looking forward to this one as well?
Not as much. I think I'd have rather seen him go up against someone else.
Who like?
Well, before the whole Bryan thing I mentioned in a video earlier, I would rather see Bryan against Undertaker to try and prove himself as being like the underdog. But I don't know. Obviously, Taker's going to win it. There's no sort of doubt in that. But it's just the whole Brock Lesnar thing and being the beast. Because ever since he's come back, he's kind of lost a lot of matches, and he's been thrown around by the Big Show. So he's not really the beast that he's being made out to be. And I don't know. Like you said, I think it's going to be more of a brawling match. There'll be blood and sort of a lot more extreme than the last couple of years. So I don't see it being a great wrestling match like Taker always seems to put on. And because Brock's matches are so physical, I was kind of worried for Taker with all these injuries. But he seems to be in great shape, so I think he'll be alright in that sense. It's just, I'm really looking forward just to see how he overcomes the obstacles of like Brock's power and Heyman getting involved. So I know the outcome, Taker's going to win, but it's more, how is he going to do that? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's the exact way that I've thought about it. I there's no way Lesnar's going to take the streak.
Despite his T-shirt.
That T-shirt is awesome. I'm still hunting that T-shirt down. I want that T-shirt. What would be the point? I don't know. I'll have it, and then it'll be over. But
Wear it every year.
I think the reason why I got quite up for this match is just because the build's been quite good. It's been nice. It's been a good, solid build up to this match. Heyman's done a lot of work in it, so has Taker. I completely agree with what you said about Lesnar in terms of that he has lost this element of being the beast. I don't know what they did with him throughout this year. I mean, when he came back at not this year, but when he came back at Extreme Rules, the first thing that they did, he lost to Cena, didn't he? And for me, that should have been a Lesnar win from the offset. So it has been a bit of a mockery the way he's come back, but I guess this is because he's on this short-term deal that WWE necessarily don't really see it worth pushing him too much. But then again, they've given him one of the biggest matches on the card this year. So it's a bit contradictory, isn't it?
I think it's a credit to Lesnar that he's actually come back and he's lost these matches. Like, especially signing for a second year after that first year, because it could have really damaged like his character.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big credit to him for actually sticking around and losing these matches.
Just don't give him the mic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep that mic away from him.
Or a TV monitor.
I would rather see because it looks like it'll be more of a brawl. I would have much rather seen Taker come back as the American Badass though. I think that would have worked a lot better.
I said this a little while ago. I don't understand why that didn't happen. That would have worked. Although he has got in fantastic shape this year. I think this is the best he's looked in the last 3 or 4 years. I think he looks like he's in mint condition, but he's had a whole year to prepare for it. The only thing I want to throw at you guys in this match is at the end of the match, obviously after Taker beats Lesnar, could we possibly see a little cameo of Sting up in the rafters?
I think so.
I think we're definitely going to see that. Whether or not, I reckon it could even be the next night on Raw. But then the imagery of having that in the Superdome over there would just be fantastic. And it's not like the WWE to miss like a visual kind of opportunity, is it? When you've got something that powerful, kind of builds the feud for the next year all by itself, doesn't it?
All he's got to do is point down with his baseball bat and then point up at a sign or something like that. That'd just be awesome. And then I might not be around for the main event because I'll still be marking out. So this is kind of unanimous, isn't it? We all think that Taker's gonna win. Lesnar's not got a hope in hell. But overall, I think this is going to be quite a good match in terms of just an all-out fight.
No, that's exactly what I'm expecting. Brawl, 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 brawl.
Yes. Okay, so we did cover Daniel Bryan, Triple H. Let's talk about last but not least. I think I've covered all the matches. I think I have done an alright job.
I think you got a lot.
Let's talk about the main event. Randy Orton, Bautista, and, well, by the sounds of it, Bryan and Triple H. Is there any way that Randy Orton can retain that WWE World Heavyweight Championship?
I was just checking that you were aware that him and Batista are still in the match because they're not getting a lot of coverage, are they?
No, they're not. I can see them after Mania going into a feud, but I don't think there's any chance of Orton retaining. I think we all sort of want Bryan to win the belt at Mania, don't we?
No, definitely. I mean, if anyone has had to go through a journey of getting it for 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, it's him, isn't it? I mean, this is what, 9-10 months this has been building up properly, I suppose. Maybe not that long, it's been at least from SummerSlam last year, and this is where everyone is expecting that happy ending to come, isn't it?
Do you think I'll put this one to Paul as well, do you think if they don't, this could be like a massive mistake if they don't give Bryan the belt at the granddaddy of them all?
If they don't give him it at the end of it, I think that's going to be the worst decision that they could ever make. I can't see. I don't even want to think about them doing that, because if you go the opposite way, it ends on such a high note if Daniel Bryan does achievement, and you've got that sort of the Eddie Guerrero type moment, where he won the title. So it shows that he's overcome everything. It shows that it's like the fairy tale ending, and then sends everyone home happy. You've got all them crowds in there chanting yes, and it really sets it up to go forward from there. But if you go the other way, if Triple H goes over everyone, then that crowd's going to be so dead at that point. They're going to be so annoyed. And the next night on Raw and carrying on afterwards, until Triple H drops that belt to Bryan, that's just going to be a horrible sight.
I was going to say, if Triple H goes over, you won't have anyone at Raw the next night, I don't think.
The only thing I quite like about that is that we get like a belt, a new WWE Championship with Triple H's face on it. I quite like that. That'd look quite good.
We'd have Stephanie's face on it. We know we runs things properly, don't we?
Yeah, she calls the shots. She told him to get his hair cut. He got his hair cut. I'm completely agreeing with Bryan winning this. I did say I'd swayed a little bit. I'd got a little bit more used to the thought process that possibly Triple H could go over. In the scenario that we have sort of like an Evolution reunion and the belt is almost just handed to him after Orton and Batista do the dirty work and pretty much demolish Bryan. But I don't think that's the right scenario for this WrestleMania. It's been such a long-term struggle for Daniel Bryan to get to this stage that, and after the cock-ups of the Royal Rumble, I just feel it has to happen at the biggest stage and the greatest event, WrestleMania 30. Bryan must be crowned champion.
No, definitely. WrestleMania is the event where you send the fans home happy. Otherwise, what's the last year been? What have we all been waiting for?
We'll probably get it next year as well anyway. Be twice in a lifetime. So we'll probably get repeat performance anyway.
DVD, Blu-ray box set.
And do you know what? It'd be quite nice, the feuds that could come out of it with Bryan with the championship. I don't really want to see Orton, like you said earlier, that was a really good scenario put forward about Roman Reigns. I don't really want to see Orton, Batista and Triple H all vying it out. But I sort of think that if Bryan does come away with the belt, that it's going to be continuing this feud with Triple H. It's going to be that struggle of the authority versus it's like a bit like with Austin when Austin had the belt and it was sort of rebelling against Vince, whereas this is just going to be Bryan rebelling against Triple H and the authority still.
No, definitely. I mean, either way, I think after this, it has to grow in some kind of direction that's different from what they're doing now. So no, I kind of expect little bits and pieces to change, and maybe it's a new heel here, or someone helping Bryan here. But I think after Mania, we'll get a lot of new, fresh storylines. It's always the night after is always one of the best Raws to watch, isn't it? So much happens. No
possibility of Punk turning up?
I'm just have a quick look outside. No, pigs are not flying. Hell is not frozen over. I can't see him being there at all.
What do you think, Paul? No Punk?
I can't see it, no. I think when he didn't show up at the Raw in Chicago, I think that was the point where I realised he's not coming back. I can't see him come back at all until his contract's up. So I think it might be a long time before we see him back.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we're all looking for the fairy tale finish of Daniel Bryan being crowned WWE World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 30.
Definitely, yep. I'm not watching anymore.
I overall, my expectation is high, and the only way it can really be spoiled is if the outcome isn't that. Because I think that's going to leave us all a bit like the Royal Rumble with a bit of a sour taste in our mouth if we don't get that now. And I think WWE have potentially learnt their lesson from the Royal Rumble.
Hopefully.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, no, do you know what? When I say that, I do think, but no.
Maybe not.
I wouldn't put it past Triple H walking out with the championship. Okay, guys, so, I mean, it's been really good. So what do you think, like, to sort of finish it off, what do you think sort of going to go on after WrestleMania? How do you think, if Bryan's crowned champion, potential feud that he's going to go on to on next night on Raw? That goes to either of you.
I would go with, well, we usually get a sort of rematch scenario. Is it Extreme Rules that comes afterwards?
Yeah.
But they could probably do something where it's either a triple threat or fatal 4-way again for the title in Extreme Rules. And then afterwards, if we go back to the Roman Reigns scenario, so he does turn heel, then after that we could see Bryan and Reigns and Batista versus Orton as a separate match with them two maybe feuding. Say that they believed, like, Orton believed Batista was the one that cost him the title, and that was why he lost it to Bryan.
Yeah, I definitely sort of see an Orton Batista sort of feud kicking off. It just feels that's an easy route to go down as well. And if in that main event, if they do stitch each other up slightly, then the blame game's going to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I kind of think exactly the same sort of thing. You're going to have these 4 or 3, depending on what happens, in that kind of title picture for the next maybe 2-3 months before they go their separate ways and start their new feuds. But like Paul was saying, I see Batista, Orton, because they wanted it to happen and no one was happy about it. But if they move it maybe a match or 2 down the card, maybe it will go down okay.
Yeah, the only thing, as long as Batista's trunks don't split at this WrestleMania, everything will be fine.
Definitely.
And the only thing that could make this WrestleMania any more special is if Buff Bagwell was inducted into the Hall of Fame. You
need to drop that.
I've told you on numerous occasions the show is sponsored by Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see a check.
It's Bagwell approved. I think this pretty much wraps up this episode of We Talk. Obviously, guys, make sure you leave us the comments of your predictions, your views on WrestleMania 30. And make sure as well you check us out. You can follow us all on Twitter. As you can see on the screen right now, there are links to our Twitter accounts and our YouTube channels. SmackTalks, has you got anything you want to put over or that's on your channel or that's coming up in the future?
If you're looking out for creations, come check out the community showcase, youtube.com/SmackTalks, or check out the website, smacktalks.org.
Yep, there will also be, I'll leave the links as well in the description box below, and you'll also have them right here on the screen, so you can go click on those links as well. Weeds, you got anything you want to put out there? I know you always do.
Of course. Very new channel I've got going on YouTube now, not like these 2 experienced campaigners I've been talking to, lucky enough to talk to today, but yeah, I've got new things going up on the Weeds world, so check that out. New What If series, having a look at matches that could have happened or maybe should have happened in WWE's past, so yeah, check it out.
Yep, make sure you do. Make sure you go check out both their YouTube channels and follow them on Twitter. I just want to say, Paul, thank you very much for joining us today. It's really appreciated that you came on the show, and it's great to have your views on WrestleMania 30. Really looking forward to the event. I'm sure you are as well.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks for having us, man. It's been great.
No, that's no problem. No problem. Weeds, do you want to say anything else?
No, until next Sunday, we've got 7 more sleeps and then we are there. Pizza, beer, and staying up until about 5 a.m.
Excellent. Well, until then, I think all that's left to be said is please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is Delzinski, SmackTalks, and Weeds, all signing out.